Everybody, myself Teshwini PG from Department of Botany, Veershiva College, Ballari. So I'm dealing with the second semester BSc and the topic Netum morphology, structure and reproduction. And this previously in the part 1 I have been explained about the Netum morphology and its structure. Now we will move to the reproduction of Netum. So coming to the reproduction, it is diploid sporophytic plant body. It is dioecious in nature. The reproductive organs are organized into well-developed cones or strobili. Here the cones or it is called as the strobili. These cones are organized into inflorescences generally of panicle type. Sometimes the cones are terminal in position. So here in the reproduction of the Netum, it is differing from each individual species. However, in Netum africanum, each strobili bears male and female reproductive organs. For conveniency, the reproductive organs are called as flowers. As I told you all before, some of the angiospermic characters are seen in the Netum also. And this Netum is heterosporous and it is having two spores. One is a microspore and another one is a megaspore. It produces microspores inside the male flowers and the megaspores inside the female flowers. So the microspore gives rise to a pollen tube containing male nuclei. This tubular structure is the male gametophyte, isn't it? So the megaspore produces an embryo sac inside the ovule. It represents the female gametophyte. Laterly, the male nucleus in the female gametophyte fuses with the female nucleus of egg in the embryo sac to form a diploid zygote. This is how the zygote formation is taking place. The zygote gives rise to a diploid embryo and the ovule becomes a seed. So the seed germinates into a diploid sporophytic plant. So here you can see this is the particular male cone of the Netum or the male strobilus. So a cone consists of a cone axis at the base of which are present two opposite and connate bracts. We are finding this bract like structure, isn't it? This is a cone like structure, that is a bract present here. Nodes and internodes are present in the conic axis. Here you can see this is a nodal region and it is an internodal region. And what whole of circular bracts are present on the nodes. These are arranged one above the other to form a cupullus or collars. Okay, cupullus or the collars. Flowers are present in these collars. Upper few collars may be reduced and are sterile in nature. See the upper tip part, they may be sterile in nature. These, so that we can say that the male strobilus, a cluster of strobili, is born at the tip of dwarf branches. We can see the cluster of flowers like inflorescence arrangement in the dwarf branch. It is called as an inflorescence. The inflorescence is a panicle type, as I told you all before. It has a slender axis that bears a particular few stout-watered nodes. Okay, so here we can see the male cone or the male strobili. Here in the picture it is very clear. It is arranged and in a stack of coin like structure and it looks like a spike inflorescence. Okay, so this is here it is very clear in the diagram A. The male strobilus or cone is 5 centimeter long and it has a short stout axis that has several nodes. So you can see here the darker regions, these are the nodal regions. Each node bears two small opposite leaves, as I told well before. The margin of the leaves partially fuses with each other and forms a cupuli like structure called collar, isn't it? And the flowers are sessile on the cone axis. You can see the flowers are sessile on the cone axis. The cone therefore looks like a spike inflorescence. It looks like a spike. Each male flower is enclosed with a perianth. You can see here, this is the perianth structure. When it is young, when the flower matures, the perianth opens and two anthers on a stalk come out, short stalk. See here, this is a two anther seen here. So these are the two anthers. The anthers are unilocular. The flower is an unisexual. Okay. So here what happened? The development of microsporangium is an eusporangiate type. So we can see that it is an eusporangiate type. Laterly this will get separated. The two anthers, bilobed anthers, we can tell partially. In young male flower, amount of cells develop and then two or three archiporeal cells differentiated from its hypodermal cells. The archisporial cells divide periclinally and gives rise to outer primary wall cells and inner sporangious sporogenous cells. So the primary, what happens here is that here we can see the perianth here. So the sporangial cells divide into outer tapetal cell and inner spore mother cell. So the later undergoes meiotic divisions to form the haploid microspores. Okay, microspores. Stalk and the perianth. This is how we can see the male flowers. So this is in the Neetum gynmon, showing fusion of male flower modified after Mahulat. Okay, so here we can see the female strobili. The female cone resembles with the male cone except in some definite aspects. As that of the male cone, even it looks the similar, but here the number varies. A single ring of 4 to 10 female flowers or ovule is present just above each collar. See here, you can see above the each collar we can see the arrangement 4 to 10. In the young condition, there is hardly any external difference between female and male cone. All the ovules are of the same size when young, but later on a few of them enlarge and develop into a mature seed. So all the ovules never mature into a seed. Only certain things will get matured here. So this is the particular female strobili. Okay. So it is elongate. It is also having the nodal and internodal region with a collar like neck and the seed with a folded bract also. Coming to the female, that is here we can see the yellows of ovule. The ovule is made up of a spherical nucleus surrounded by a three envelope called integuments. This is a spherical nucleus. Three integuments are present here. You can see one is this and the integument. This integument arises in a acropetal sequence. The innermost integument extends beyond the other and forms a micropellar tube. See, this is the micropellar tube. It is fuses to the lower half of the nucleus and forms a pollen chamber at the micropellar end. In some species, the middle integument is stony. As we are seeing in the Pinus, there also we are seeing three different layers of the particular integument. One is the outer fleshy layer and a middle stony layer and a inner fleshy layer. Okay, all the three integuments receives vascular supply here. So this is the particular ovule of the Neetum, and here we can see some of the outer integument is analogous to ovary and the inner two are the real integuments. And we can call it as a real integuments. Each ovule consists of a nucleus surrounded by three envelopes. The nucleus consists of a central mass of cells. The inner envelope elongates beyond the middle envelope to form a micropellar tube or style. So this is how the particular ovule can be seen. Here the cellular part of female gametophyte. Later stages, as the development is taking place, we can see the elaborated cells here. So this is the pollen tube where the pollen is getting entered from the micropellar, the outer opening of the particular ovule. So this is about the LS of the ovule. Coming to the male gametophyte, this is very important to know about the gametophyte condition. Neetum is a diploid sporophytic plant, as I told you before, as it is a predominant phage. It reproduces by spores. It is heterosporous. As this part is dioecious, the microspores and megaspores are produced in separate plant. Okay, so it is dioecious. The microspore germinate into tubular male gametophyte. The megaspores gives rise to the embryo sac or female gametophyte. Both the male and the female gametophyte are very much reduced. So in the male gametophyte, what happened? The pollen grains or microspores are roughly spherical in outline. They are uninucleated and remain surrounded by a thick and spiny exine and intine. It is very much well known about the pollen structure, the spine-like structure on the outer part, that is the exine. It will be on the surface of the exine, and the inner part, that is a thin intine, and within that we are finding a small nucleus. Mature pollen grains are shed at 3 nucleated stage. Here you can see in the picture clearly. One is a particular first one, that is a first ring indicates the exine, and middle one indicates the intine. Within that it is the nucleus here. Okay, so later what happened? The microspore is a haploid cell. It is spherical in shape. This is a microspore here, spherical in shape. It is bounded by two layers, namely exine and intine. As I told you all, the exine is the thick outer layer and it bears spiny outgrowths over its outer surface. The intine is the inner layer. It is thin and smooth. The spore contains a haploid nucleus and a dense cytoplasm. What happens later? The nucleus of the microspore divides into two daughter nuclei. One of the daughter nuclei once again divides into two. Here you can see here. This is how the division is taking place, and it is having it is thin and smooth. Okay, so later what happened? Thus a trinucleate cell is formed. One daughter nucleus of the microspore divides into two daughter nuclei. Again one of the daughter nuclei again divides into two of the other things. So thus it is called as a trinucleated cell is formed. Usually microspores are shed when they are in triangular trinucleated stage. Okay, so further development takes place after pollination inside the pollen chamber of the ovule. What happened? This is the particular pollen chamber. What are the things going on there? So the exine ruptures. What happened? The exine will get ruptured. Laterly, the intine produces out through the rupturing and grows into a pollen tube. So this is how the pollen tube is grown here. And this one of the pollen tube is grown. One nucleus approaches the growing tip of the pollen tube and guides its growth towards the embryo sac. Hence it is called a tube nucleus. So this is the tube nucleus. This is where the particular pollen tube is enlarged. One nucleus remains inside the pollen grain, and it does not play any role. One will be remaining inside. Okay, the empty one. And laterly other nucleus develops a cell membrane around it and forms a cell called generative cell. See here you can see the generative cell. This is the generative cell here. As it is developing, we can see one of the formed with the generative cell. The generative cell divides into two equal or unequal male gametes. See here what happened? This is a two male gametes are formed here. So laterly one of these gamete fuses with the egg to form a zygote. One will come and fuse for the zygote there. Okay, and next coming to this, we can see as the elaboration of the particular tube nucleus. Generative cell is done there. Again with the tube nucleus is formed. Laterly two male cells will be produced. This is how the male gametophyte is been working here. This is all the thing, the same thing I have been explained. And coming for the pollination, as that of the pinus, here also the wind is the mode of transferring of the pollen. Wind helps in carrying the pollen grains up to the micropylar tube of the ovule. The micropylar tube secretes a drop of fluid in which certain pollen grains get entangled and reach up to the pollen chamber. That is very important. Where the pollen chamber is situated, there the pollen grain will be taken from. Okay, so the nucleus cell below the pollen chamber are full of starch. So coming to the fertilization, as of the pollination is taking place laterly, the next one, that is a fertilization. At the time of fertilization, the pollen tube precise through the membrane of the female gametophyte just near to a group of densely cytoplasmic cells. It pairs. Okay, the tip of the pollen tube bursts and the male cells are released. One of the male cell enters the egg cell. So laterly, what happened, as the female gametophyte has seen, after that of the male gametophyte, there we can see megaspores, how the fertilization is taking place. After the fertilization, here we are finding the particular seed formation. Okay, so the seed is an ovule or slightly elongated structure. It is green to red in color. It is bounded by a three-layered what is that envelope. The outer envelope is parenchymatous with fibrous and sclerites. So the middle envelope is the stony in nature. The inner envelope consists of the columnar cells. Next to the inner envelope, there is a parenchymatous tissue. The later surrounds the endosperm. Okay, a thin stripe of nucleus lies at the micropylar end of the seed. You can see this is a condition. So here this is the A diagram, that is the entire seed. Laterly this is a LS of the seed and this is a TS of the seed. So this is how we can see the seed here. So especially in the netum, seeds are oval to elongated in shape and green to red in color, as I told you all. It remains surrounded by a three-layer envelope which encloses the embryo and the endosperm. Here you can see this is the embryo inside the seed. In the LS of seed it is very clear, and the endosperm, outer envelope is the fleshy and consists of a parenchyma cells. We can see this is the outer parenchyma cells here, and laterly it imparts color to the seed. Okay, this is, and we can see the middle envelope is hard, protective and made up of the layers, three layers, because it is very much rigid at the center. Outer layer of parenchymatous cell, middle layer of pellucid cells, and innermost fibrous region. So that is very important, the fibrous region. The inner envelope in parenchymatous branched vascular bundles transfer through all the three envelopes. So that is very important. As the seed is seen here, germination of seed in netum gymnome. Firstly, in the A we can see the endosperm and the hypocotyle and the outer small one, that is a radicle here. So laterly what happened, the particular cotyledon will grow and it is positively phototrophic, so it grows upwards. Okay, and laterly, that is a persistent feeder is being produced and expanded dicotyledons are seen. This is how the seed is getting germinated. Coming to the last one, that is a life cycle. So to discuss about the life cycle, starting from the habitat, we have to know about the netum. So here we can see this is the starting part, that is a twig with a male cone. Netum is an advanced gymnosperm. As we all know, it belongs to the order Nettales. It is considered as the most advanced genus of the gymnosperm. So far what happened, around 40 species have been identified and 5 species are reported from the India. They are distributed in the moist tropical regions. So netum is a sporophytic plant body. It is well developed with the root system, shoot system and leaf also. So that is a branch, stem, leaf, root, everything is well developed. So and the stem is woody, and some of them are even creepers, and some of them are shrubs, and some of them are trees here. So laterly, the coming to the venation here, it is reticulate. Netum is heterosporous. It produces two kinds of spores called microspores and the megaspores, isn't it? Here we can see it is a microspores or the megaspore. The microspores are produced from the male strobili and the megaspore are produced from the female strobili. Here we can see it is about the production of the male and the female strobili. A cluster of strobili is born at the tip of the dwarf branch. It is called as inflorescence. It is panicle. It has a slender axis that bears a few stoutwort nodes also. And the anther represent a microsporangium. Here this is the microsporangium, isn't it? It arises from the hypodermal cells at the base of the perianth. This is the perianth. and two or three archisporial cells differentiate and gives rise to primary wall cells. Okay, and sporogenous cells. The primary wall cells form sporangial wall. The sporogenous cell by repeated division form tapetum and spore mother cells, isn't it? So the later undergo meiosis to form a haploid microspores. So here this is a microspores, that is a 2n in condition. Here it is a diploid condition. Firstly they will form the haploid in condition. So the female strobili looks like a male cone. It is produced at the tip of the dorsal branch, as I told you all before this, all the things. And each female flower consists of a short stalk and a ovule. The ovule is made up of a spherical nucleus, and the three envelope are seen here. Integuments we can call it as. Okay. Laterly what happened? The generative cell divides into two cells called male gametes. When the pollen tube approaches the embryo sac, one or two phase nuclei enlarge and became egg nuclei. So here the 2n condition, the spore mother cells are seen. Laterly they will divide and it will be generating into the spore, that is trinucleate condition. You can see here one daughter nucleus give rise to the another daughter nucleus. Again it goes on dividing and gives rise to a third one, that is a trinuclei is formed. And next it is entering with the microspore, that is an in condition I told you all before. And here you can see that as the development is taking place, we can see the elongation. Okay, the mature embryo is also seen. And after entering the embryo sac, the male gametes are released into the embryo sac. One male gamete fuses with the egg nucleus to form a zygote nucleus, isn't it? So here the zygote produces a branch of suspensor. This is a branch of suspensor. Here a small cell at the end of the branches gives rise to an embryo. We can see here this is how the embryo is formed here, as it is taking, before that the fertilization is taking place here. And so they produce in the nucleus, but one or two develop into a mature embryo. Before that, the free nuclei around the embryo from cell wall and give rise to an endosperm. So here we can see the endosperm here. The ovule wall becomes a seed coat. As a result, the fertilized ovule becomes a seed here. So this is how it is, the seed formation is taking place here. So coming to the conclusion here, Neetum is a diploid sporophytic plant. It does not reproduce new sporophyte, okay, directly. It produces two kinds of spores, namely microspores and the megaspores after meiosis. The microspore gives rise to a pollen tube called male gametophyte, and the megaspore gives rise to an embryo sac called female gametophyte. So the male nucleus of the pollen tube fertilizes a female nucleus in the embryo sac to form a diploid zygote, that is a 2n. So the zygote develops into an embryo and the ovule becomes a seed. The seed germinates into a sporophytic plant body. Okay, so thus the sporophytic generation regularly alternates with the gametophytic generation to complete the life cycle. The gametophytes and the sporophyte are morphologically dissimilar. So therefore, life cycle of Neetum is a heteromorphic alteration of a generation. This is how the Neetum is been completing its life cycle. And here you can see the particular clear picture in the chart. Okay, this is the Neetum reproduction. Yeah, male and the female cone here. How the spores are released, the exine and the intine. Here you can see the pollen grain, okay, pollen tube formation, and this is the LS of the ovule with the three layers, outer layer, inner layer and the middle layer. It is very clear. This is the embryo sac here at the middle. Okay, this is the embryo formation. As the fertilization is taking place, the pollen, how it enters inside the endosperm here. And this is a secondary suspensor here, and laterly the mature seed branched with the mature seed, hypocotyl region and the root on the feeder you can see here. So this is how a new plant will be grown as the seed formation is taking place. Thank you.